A factory is consuming exactly 400 kilowatts of real power every day. The motors are running, the machines are producing, and nothing has changed in months. Yet the electricity bill keeps showing a demand charge penalty of $8,000 to $15,000 every single month. The facility manager checks consumption and finds it steady at 400 kilowatts. He checks the machines, all running correctly, and the transformers, no faults, no alarms, no overloads. Everything looks normal, but the penalty keeps appearing on every bill without exception. The reason is a number on the utility meter the facility manager has never looked at: power factor. Fixing it requires one specific piece of equipment that most engineers have heard of, but very few fully understand. In this video, we will understand exactly what a capacitor bank does to the power factor, why it works at the physics level, how to calculate the correct size for any installation, and what happens when it is sized incorrectly. Let us begin. The number the facility manager never looked at is the power factor reading on the utility meter, and in this facility it reads 0.72. This single number explains the entire penalty charge, and everything that follows in this video is about understanding it and fixing it. Power factor is the ratio of real power to apparent power. Real power is the kilowatts that actually do useful work, running motors, producing heat, driving machines. Apparent power is the total current multiplied by voltage that the supply must deliver to get that real power to the load. The gap between the two exists because of inductive loads. Every induction motor, every transformer, and every fluorescent light ballast draws not just the current it needs to do real work, but also an additional reactive power to build and maintain its magnetic field, measured in kilovolt amperes reactive, or kVAR. This reactive power flows back and forth between the supply and the load every cycle without doing any useful work at all. Yet it still flows through every cable, every switch, and every transformer winding in the supply chain. Because of that, it heats conductors, occupies cable capacity, and forces the utility to build infrastructure sized for the total current, both reactive and real together, even though only the real portion produces useful output. Put the factory's numbers into this. The facility draws 400 kilowatts of real power at a power factor of 0.72, so the apparent power the supply must deliver equals 400 divided by 0.72, which comes out to 556 kilovolt amperes. The utility is supplying 556 kVA of current capacity to deliver only 400 kilowatts of useful work. Because these components form a right triangle, we cannot simply subtract them. Using the Pythagorean theorem, we find that the remaining reactive power is actually 386 kVAR. This 386 kVAR of reactive power is flowing through the utility's cables, transformers, and switchgear, doing nothing useful but occupying infrastructure the utility paid to build. Most utilities charge a power factor penalty once power factor drops below 0.90 or 0.95. And at 0.72, that penalty is substantial and will keep appearing on every monthly bill for as long as the power factor stays uncorrected. Now here is the insight that makes the capacitor bank solution logical. The reactive current from inductive loads lags behind the voltage by 90 degrees, flowing in the wrong direction relative to voltage during part of every cycle. A capacitor produces current that leads the voltage by 90 degrees, the exact opposite behavior. Because of that, connecting a capacitor in parallel with an inductive load allows the two reactive currents to cancel each other locally. The supply no longer has to deliver reactive current all the way from the generator through miles of infrastructure. The motor and capacitor exchange that reactive energy between themselves. The supply sees only the real current, and the power factor rises toward unity. Now that we understand exactly what the capacitor is doing at the physics level, let us see how a capacitor bank is built and installed in practice. An individual power factor correction capacitor is a three-phase component, filled with dielectric fluid or dry film insulation and housed in a metal can. It is rated in kilovolt amperes reactive at a specific voltage, for example 50 kVAR at 480 volts. This rating tells you how much reactive power the capacitor can supply to cancel inductive reactive power in the system. Connecting several of these capacitors together on a common bus forms a capacitor bank. And the total kVAR of the bank is simply the sum of all the individual capacitor ratings. Capacitor banks come in two types, fixed banks and automatic banks, and each solves a different part of the power factor problem. A fixed capacitor bank connects a constant amount of capacitive reactive power to the supply bus at all times, and does not switch in or out as the load changes. Because of that, a fixed bank only suits installations where the reactive power demand of the load stays roughly constant throughout the working day, such as a facility running the same motors at the same loading level continuously. The bank gets sized to supply the reactive power that constant load requires, and it stays connected permanently at the supply bus or at the motor terminals. An automatic capacitor bank uses a power factor controller, a small electronic device that monitors the power factor of the supply in real time. As the factory load changes throughout the day, more motors starting in the morning, some shutting down at lunch, peak production in the afternoon, the reactive power demand changes continuously as well. The power factor controller responds by switching individual capacitor steps in and out of circuit using contactors, keeping power factor as close to the target value as possible at all times. A typical automatic bank might have 6 to 12 steps, each at a fixed kVAR rating, and the controller adds steps when power factor falls below target and removes steps when it rises above it. Capacitor banks can be installed at 3 different points in the electrical system, and the correct choice depends on the facility layout. At the main supply bus, a centralized bank corrects the overall facility power factor as measured by the utility meter, which eliminates the penalty charge. But it does not reduce the reactive power flowing through the internal distribution tables and transformers inside the facility. At individual motor control centers, a distributed bank corrects power factor closer to the source of reactive power, reducing internal cable losses as well. At individual motor terminals, dedicated capacitors correct each motor's reactive power completely locally, which is the most effective position but also the most expensive, since every motor needs its own capacitors and switching equipment. Because of this, most industrial facilities use a combination, a central automatic bank at the main supply bus to eliminate the utility penalty, and dedicated fixed capacitors on the largest motors to reduce internal cable losses. Before we calculate exactly how much kVAR this facility needs, I want to ask you something. Have you ever worked on a site where a low power factor was causing problems? A transformer running hot, a utility penalty appearing every month, cables carrying more current than the load seemed to justify? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what the power factor was, what the symptom was, and what was installed to fix it. Real site experience from real engineers is more useful than any textbook example, and I read every comment on this channel. Now let us calculate exactly how much kVAR factory from the opening needs to correct its power factor from 0.72 to the target of 0.95 and eliminate the utility penalty. The factory draws 400 kilowatts of real power at a power factor of 0.72. And earlier, we found that the reactive power at this condition is 386 kVAR. That is the reactive power currently flowing all the way from the utility, through every cable and transformer in the supply chain. After installing the capacitor bank, we want to reach a power factor of 0.95. And the real power stays at 400 kilowatts since none of the productive equipment is changing. At a power factor of 0.95, the new reactive power equals 400 multiplied by the tangent of the angle, whose cosine is 0.95. The inverse cosine of 0.95 gives an angle of 18.19 degrees, and the tangent of that angle is 0.3287, so the new reactive power equals 400 multiplied by 0.3287, which comes out to 131.5 kVAR. The capacitor bank has to supply the difference between the existing reactive power and the new target reactive power. That required kVAR equals 386 minus 131.5, which is 254.5 kVAR, and we round up to the next standard bank size, 275 kVAR. That is the capacitor bank required to correct this facility from a power factor of 0.72 to 0.95 on a 480 volt supply. Now let us verify the result. After installing 275 kVAR of capacitors, the net reactive power seen by the supply equals 386 minus 275, which is 111 kVAR. Apparent power equals the square root of 400 squared plus 111 squared, which is the square root of 160,000 plus 12,321, giving the square root of 172,321, which equals 415.1 kVA. The corrected power factor equals 400 divided by 415.1, which is 0.964, comfortably above the 0.95 threshold, so the utility penalty disappears. The supply cables now carry 415.1 kVA instead of 556 kVA, Line current has dropped from 556,000 divided by 480 divided by the square root of 3, which is 669 amperes, down to 415,115 divided by 480 divided by the square root of 3, which is 499 amperes. The cables are now carrying 25.4% less current for the exact same 400 kilowatts of real work being done. The calculation gives us the correct size, but there is one mistake in capacitor bank sizing that causes more problems than it solves, and it is made more often than you would expect. That mistake is overcorrection, installing more kVAR than the load actually requires. Earlier, we established that inductive loads cause current to lag behind voltage, while capacitors cause current to lead voltage. The goal of power factor correction is to add enough leading current to cancel the lagging current and bring the power factor as close to unity as possible. But if too many capacitors get installed, the leading current exceeds the lagging current. The net current in the supply cable ends up leading the voltage instead, and the power factor becomes leading rather than lagging. A leading power factor causes a different set of problems, and they are just as serious as the original low-lagging power factor. The first problem with overcorrection is voltage rise. When a large capacitive reactive power flows back toward the supply, through the supply cable impedance, it raises the voltage at the point of connection. On a 480-volt supply, an overcorrected capacitor bank can push the local bus voltage up to 490 or 500 volts. And this overvoltage stresses motor insulation, shortens motor life, and can damage voltage-sensitive equipment connected to the same bus. The second problem is that some utilities charge penalties for leading power factors just as they do for lagging power factors below their threshold. Because of that, an engineer who installs too large a capacitor bank to aggressively eliminate a lagging power factor penalty may simply find a leading power factor penalty appearing on the next bill instead. The third problem is resonance. Capacitors and the inductance of the supply transformer form a resonant circuit at a specific frequency. And if that resonant frequency coincides with a harmonic frequency produced by variable frequency drives or other nonlinear loads in the facility, the resonance amplifies the harmonic current dramatically. Capacitors correctly sized for power factor correction at fundamental frequency can end up carrying harmonic currents many times their rated value under these conditions, and they often fail within weeks of installation. For this reason, the correct target for power factor correction in most facilities is 0.95 to 0.97 lagging, not unity and certainly not leading. The earlier calculation targeted 0.95 for exactly that reason, since stopping short of unity provides a safe margin against overcorrection as load varies throughout the day. Let us close by resolving the factory from the opening completely. That factory paying an $8,000 to $15,000 monthly penalty was not wasting electricity or running inefficient machines. It was running motors that drew reactive current alongside real current, and that reactive current flowed through the utility's infrastructure every second, occupying capacity, heating cables, and forcing the utility to build equipment sized for the total current, not just the useful portion. The utility recovered that cost through the penalty. The 400 kilowatt reading was accurate the whole time. The problem was the 386 kVAR of reactive power, invisible to anyone only looking at kilowatts. A 275 kVAR automatic capacitor bank installed at the main supply bus fixed that by supplying the reactive current locally. The motors still get the reactive current they need, but now from capacitors sitting beside them instead of from the utility. The meter sees only the residual 111 kVAR instead of 386. Power factor rises from 0.72 to 0.964, the penalty disappears, and line current drops from 669 amperes to 499 amperes. Cable losses drop, the transformer runs cooler, and the entire supply chain works less hard for the exact same output. The sizing method stays the same every time. Identify the real power and current power factor, calculate the existing reactive power, calculate the target reactive power at the desired corrected power factor, and size the capacitor bank to supply the difference. Target 0.95 to 0.97 lagging, never unity, never leading. Use an automatic controller for facilities with variable loads through the day. Remember the core idea behind all of this. A capacitor bank does not reduce the power a factory consumes or make motors more efficient. It changes where the reactive current comes from. Before correction, it travels from the utility through miles of infrastructure to the motor. After correction, it travels from the capacitor to the motor across a few meters of cable in the same panel. The utility sees less current, the penalty disappears, and everything runs cooler. With the same factory, same motors, same production. The only thing that changed is the local source of reactive power, and that one change saves this factory between $96,000 and $180,000 every year. If you are curious to learn why things are the way they are, subscribe to Zenthro Code and keep discovering.